Ready?
Ready and go!
Oh hey, it's Wes, and today it's time to talk about another gimbal. You might be tired of it, you might not be. Today it's the Hohem Mobile Plus, we'll just make it shorter there, is kind of a little bit of an old-fashioned gimbal. It's bigger, it appears to be more rugged. It has maybe a couple more buttons than what we're used to seeing now. Let's start with the categories. Let's start with the build quality. Number one, it does feel plasticky, but number two, it feels like thicker plastic. It feels pretty rugged. And the arms here are actually mostly metal, I think. So this is a pretty tough thing right here. The grip, it has a grip, but only on one side of the handle. So that's kind of annoying. But overall, this is a pretty sturdy gimbal. Gotta give it an 8 out of 10 for build quality. Number two, feature set. We're getting pretty familiar with a lot of the features that we see on all of these gimbals. It comes with a proprietary app. Those apps generally have all the same stuff. We've got face tracking, we've got inception modes and various other modes and such. You can do manual mode and automatic modes. Anyway, these apps are getting so similar that I don't know why there are so many of them. This uses a completely different app from the Hohem iSteady X. Same company, two different apps. Why is this? It's like every time they come up with a new gimbal, they have to write a new app for it. It boggles my mind. Anyway, the app works fine. It has all the similar features we're expecting. As far as the gimbal itself though, things aren't really what we're expecting these days from a gimbal. This is clearly not very pocketable. It does, however, give you the ability to work in vertical mode. So that's a thing, I guess. This has the same payload, 280 grams, of the smaller iSteady X, but because of the shape of the arm here, it is not compatible with the wide-angle lens on your phone. It also comes with a tiny tripod to screw onto the bottom, and a charging cable, which you might notice is actually just USB Type B micro, which is kind of disappointing. Again, makes this thing seem a little bit dated. But even without the tripod, it still stands up on its own. But does it stand on its own is the question that we need to find out today. On the side here, we actually have a USB-A port that will allow you to charge your phone, but really only if you're using it in portrait mode. When you turn it back to horizontal, we are blocking the charging port on the phone, so that's not that great. We have an internal rechargeable battery that's good for many hours of fiddling around, but overall, the size and the girth of this thing really hold it back from being considered to have all the features, and I consider travelability and pocketability and foldability to be a huge feature these days. I'm only going to give it a 6 out of 10. The interface. The app that this uses does one thing that a lot of the current ones do not. It does not require you to submit personal information and location data to register this before it works. It just works. Again, a little old-fashioned in that regard. Now, when it comes to the hardware system, because I said the software is already pretty familiar stuff, we have our thumbstick here, record and power button. We have a zoom rocker that only works on one lens, which is kind of what we're used to now. We have the trigger in the front that recalibrates. So that's fine. Unfortunately, the modes on this, there's only one LED for them, and it blinks a number of times according to what mode you're in. To switch modes, you have to press this button a certain number of times. It's all pretty janky and kind of annoying if you ask me. So overall, the interface, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It lacks some of the annoyances that others have, but adds in some of its own. Stabilization. Let's break out a phone for this. So we have a much bigger arm on this, which gives you a very nice range of motion. I mean, look at the size of this range of motion right here. This is the big problem, pretty much the only big problem that the iSteady X had, has a very limited range of motion. Something that the Smooth Q2 does not suffer from. But this is our very old-fashioned range of motion, which can get you all the way down. One thing that I found with this that I can't quite narrow down where it comes from is that from time to time it does get confused about where it is. See, some of these motions aren't exactly fluid. It's surprisingly jumpy at times. While it gives you the best range of motion, when you're really getting down in the reeds, probably literally, sometimes it does unexpected things. So overall, the stabilization, I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. Now value. A lot of these gimbals don't cost much, and value is one of the only deciding factors that people use to buy them. So this one's going to set you back $90. The iSteady X, which is honestly just as good in many respects, and so much more pocketable. Just look at this thing. Let me turn this off and see if I can fold it down. Yeah, this is as small as this gets. And this one here is $80. The Smooth Q2, probably my favorite gimbal still because it feels so great in the hand and it works well, has a great range of motion. 120 bucks. It is expensive. And then you have the Osmo Mobile that's 90 or 120 bucks. I don't know. This is a tough sell for me. In conclusion, our total score is 36 out of 50, but I don't think it really tells the full story what the points add up to. At the end of the day, which of these gimbals are you going to bring with you? It's pretty obvious. You're probably going to bring this one. And if you want to spend a few bucks more, you might bring that one. Anyway, if you want to buy any of these things, I have links in the description. If you do that, it helps support my channel and feed my cats. If you don't, that's fine too. Maybe there's another one coming down the pipe for you. Let me know what you think about this, about the general state of phone gimbals, and even if we need them anymore. Leave me your comments down below. But until next time, let's go take some photos. Oh, this is so wobbly. Ugh.